Okay, guys. First of all, thoughts and prayers are with the Robinson family, with Coach Robinson passing before the game. Legend, amazing man, amazing leader. And so, really just thinking about their family. As it relates to the game, pretty straightforward. We didn't do nearly good enough job offensively. Defensively, I thought they did an amazing job being able to keep our football team in the game. But the turnovers gave us a chance, and then we turned the ball right back over from an offensive perspective. And then there just really was a lot of examples of, the importance of continuity. I'll have to go back and look at this tape, but it's got to be a lot better. And, it's really, we got to evaluate everything, and we've got to be a lot better. Yeah, it didn't seem very, it seemed like, I want to be able to look at the tape, but there was a lot of things that were not in alignment with what we're looking for. And that's why, you hear us talk about the importance of the continuity. Got a lot of respect for that defense. They did a nice job, but there was too many things that it just seemed like we were off and never gave ourselves a chance. And it's not exclusively on the line. That's, as a whole, collectively, we're all in this thing together, and we'll look at it, and we've got to be able to improve, and everything's on the table.
You had cited that continuity previously as a positive thing, but what went into the decision to switch out Bo Limmer and Jonah Jackson?
They were both, both Steve and Jonah were ready to go. Wanted to be able to see what that looked like, Jordan. You never know exactly, but always try to do what we think is best. And this will be some good film to be able to look at and see, all right, what do we think, is the best way to put guys in the right spots to give them a chance to be successful and ultimately our offense.
Did you consider going for it on that 3rd and 4 at the end of the game?
I did, but because it was a 2-possession game and what had occurred, felt like kick it away. I thought the defense was playing really well right there. But because of just kind of the flow of the overall game, that was what resulted in keeping it to a 1-possession game.
Coach, you guys played with extreme urgency coming out of the bye week. What are your thoughts around the tempo with which you all played tonight?
I thought defensively I was really pleased with the way that we played. That's a really explosive offense. I thought we were able to limit them, create a bunch of negative plays, get some turnovers, give really good short fields to the offense, and then ultimately, we weren't able to capitalize. There wasn't any sort of semblance of complementary football, and that's where we have to be able to improve. And fortunately, it is a short week. Sometimes these bad tastes that you have in your mouth after a game like this, say, let's go back to work, let's really look at it, and let's come back with the right mindset and mentality on Wednesday.
Sean, rarely do we see your teams look sloppy. Is that accurate tonight?
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of instances where really we haven't been consistent enough, especially when you just look at it from sloppy. Yeah, I mean, there was some execution that has to be better. And I want to be able to go back and look at the tape, but these are things that we have to be able to clean up if we want to be the type of team, and especially from an offensive perspective, we've got to be able to play better and consistently execute better with 11 as one.
In the moment, as the offense was struggling to get into the end zone, what was your analysis of in real time as it was happening? What was the problem?
Frustration. I think just like everybody else, because there's opportunities for us to be able to execute. I do have belief in these guys, and here's the thing, this, Gary. We're all in this thing together. We've got to be able to look at it, and we've got to consistently figure out what's the best way to put our guys in the right kinds of spots. And trying to be able to figure out some sort of semblance of an identity. It's whatever I say is going to be an excuse. Frustration is the answer to your original question, and we have to be better.
Their defensive line has been active on tape, and tonight they got their hands on 3 balls batted at the line, 1 intercepted. What's the point of emphasis to prevent that, I guess, from happening?
Yeah, getting hands down, being able to negotiate some of those throwing lanes. It felt like it was a little bit loose early on. And as the game went on, I thought we were able to protect better, which gave us a chance to be able to sustain some drives, but ultimately not being able to finish in the red area. But hats off to them. They did a really good job, and it felt like there was a bunch of bodies at the point of attack, specifically on some of those early 3rd downs.
And how do you think Matthew played tonight?
I thought he did a good job with the circumstances. I thought kept the ball in play. There were some times where, you want to be able to have a chance to let some things develop based on what the intent of the play was, and we weren't able to do that because he had to get the ball out of his hand.
After 10 weeks, how do you describe or evaluate this offense?
Inconsistent. Okay, thanks, guys.
Matthew, was there one reason or something in particular that you see why you guys weren't able to close out drives tonight?
I mean, it's just negative plays at the wrong times, right? Whether it's a turnover or a sack or a inefficient play on first down, whatever it was, we shot ourselves in the foot a little bit in that kind of strike zone area, right, 30-yard line-ish area, and that was probably the difference in the game, not coming away with touchdowns.
The energy didn't feel like your normal game. Did you guys feel that too tonight, or?
No, I mean, we're out there battling. I felt like it. It was a little bit of a game where they were going to try to keep a shell on the coverage and play a bunch of different variations of two deep. So forcing me to check the ball down to guys, and I was trying to do that early. If you're going to do that, you got to. You got to be, ultra efficient, and one play here or there can make the difference. And we just didn't do a good enough job of overcoming those.
I know there's a lot of layers to the offense with obviously offensive line, but as well as you guys have looked the last 3 weeks, without looking at the tape, any reason why?
I'm gonna have to look at it to tell you the truth.
Sure.
I'm sure everybody kind of had their hand in it. That's how it usually goes.
Matthew, Sean summarized the offense at this point in the season as very inconsistent. Do you agree with that? And
we're tonight.
Why so?
Yeah, we're tonight. Yeah. Tonight it was, a little bit of this and a little bit of that, right? We get a sudden change. We turn it back over. I turned it over earlier with the tip, tip interception. Did some really good things, and then, weren't good enough in some areas. So, yeah, I would say tonight we were inconsistent.
Did it ever feel like it was going to you that you guys were on the road to turning it and scoring touchdowns?
And we had some nice drives, there in the second half. Just it felt like, got it down, crossed the 50, got it moving, and then for one reason or another, just didn't finish them off and didn't score enough points, obviously.
What's the challenge this week in a short week?
Yeah, I kind of love it, to be honest with you. Let's go back to work. Obviously don't enjoy losing football games, so let's get back out there as soon as we can and try to go win one. So obviously a big challenge going on the road to the East Coast. Playing a team that, is a solid football team that won, and is playing good.
Forgive me if you were asked this before I walked in, but Jonah mentioned that they were just throwing the kitchen sink pressures at you guys, extra pressure regularly. Was that a challenge working with a new center for the first time in several weeks?
No, I felt like, Jonah handled himself really well in there. They were just throwing a bunch of simulated pressures at us and playing a bunch of 2D behind it.
What do you guys need to do to get off to faster starts in the first quarter?
Execute. Obviously, don't want to lose 11 on the first play of the game. It was a great play by their defensive lineman. To go over there and that's too many of those. Too many G-bots. Get back on track. Second and super longs or third and super longs. Whether it was a negative play, a penalty, miscue by us. It's tough to play football that way. And kind of plays into their hands of just playing soft coverage the whole night and making us earn it.
Matthew, I know you've obviously worked with all these guys on the offensive line, but when you're working with a new combination, what, if any, adjustments are you having to make in real time to adapt to that?
Nothing for me. Nothing. I trust those guys. It was their first game back in a while. Talking about Jonah and Steve, but I'll check the tape. We'll see. I know the character of those guys are going to go back to work and continue to do everything they can to try and play as good as they can, like we all are. Like we all have to at that point. That's what we do every single week. No matter if we win the game or we lose the game, see where we can be better, go back to work.
A couple more, guys. Coach McVay said that the defense did an amazing job tonight. Can you speak on the defense and how they basically kept you guys in it?
Yeah, I thought they played great, especially in the first half. We struggled to get anything going really there for a little bit. Got a 2-minute drive to get a field goal there at the end, but didn't do much on offense. Obviously, forced some turnovers. It seemed like a little bit similar of a game for what Miami was going with. We were trying to keep a shell on it, try to keep them in front of us. That's a really talented offense. They did a really nice job of it, and then the drives we were able to get off the field on defense. There was a negative play, right, a sack or a fumble or whatever it was, a negative play. So I thought they did a hell of a job. A little bit of a similar game plans going into it. It feels like when you go back and play it in your head, but they did a better job of executing and coming away with some touchdowns. Thanks.